Now, with the US being the largest cannabis market throughout the entire world, it's natural to see foreign investors investing into US-based cannabis companies. Now, if you've taken on foreign investment or have foreign stakeholders in your US-based cannabis business, then you may need to file a Form 5472 with the IRS. So, in this video, we're going to help you to better understand what a Form 5472 is, the filing requirements, and the penalties associated with not filing on time or accurately. So, if you have any questions about filing your cannabis business taxes or filing a Form 5472, then please reach out to us via our website at greengrowthcpas.com or give us a call at 800-674-9050. Let's hop right into the presentation. So today's topic is going to be understanding Form 5472 for cannabis business operators, and this presentation is brought to you by Green Growth CPAs. Now, before we get started, I need to let you know that the information contained in this presentation is meant for guidance purposes only and not as professional legal or tax advice. And further, it does not give any personalized legal, tax, investment, or any business advice in general. So with that out of the way, let's review what we're going to cover in this video. So first, we're going to help you to better understand what is Form 5472. Then we'll talk about what are the penalties for not filing this form. Then we'll talk about what are the penalty abatement plans, and then dig into what is a foreign person and what is the definition of that. Then we'll talk about reportable transactions, and then compare Form 5472 to Form 5471. So first, what is Form 5472? Now, IRS Form 5472 is what is known as an information form that provides information for any business that have owners, partners, or shareholders from another non-US country. So when you file this form, you're just reporting certain transactions to the IRS. There is no additional tax calculated or assessed on your business or on you personally, but the penalties for not filing are extreme, and we'll get into those in a moment. So there is absolutely no reason not to file this form. So who needs to report and file this form? Well, subject to exceptions, every reporting corporation must file a Form 5472 if it had a reportable transaction with a foreign or domestic related party. Now, a reporting corporation is a 25% foreign-owned U.S. corporation, and that can be directly owned or indirectly owned. Or it could be a foreign corporation engaged in trade or business within the United States. So, cannabis businesses that are C Corps and LLCs that meet this criteria are required to annually submit this form and must disclose all transactions with international partners, owners, and shareholders. Now, unfortunately, you cannot e-file Form 5472. You must submit it by paper or fax. And ultimately, its aim is to stop foreign tax evasion and money laundering. And it's also used to prevent companies from benefiting from tax exemptions for which they are not qualified for. So that brings us to the question, what is the penalty for not filing? Well, the penalty for not filing the IRS Form 5472 or for filing it late used to be $10,000. But after December 31st, 2017, that fee and that penalty has increased to $25,000. Now, the IRS requires this form to make sure that no one is avoiding paying taxes on transactions between U.S. and foreign participants. So, you may be asking, well, who gets assessed this $25,000 penalty? The corporation, not the individual owner or shareholder, has to file the form, and any penalties will be assessed to that U.S. corporation. So it's not the individual foreign shareholder who's going to be left holding that bag of $25,000 in penalties and fines. It will be your U.S.-based corporation that is going to be assessed that penalty or fine for not filing at all or for filing late. So make sure that you get this done. Again, there's no tax assessed. It's just a reporting requirement. So now, when you see those very large penalties of $25,000, you may be asking, can you apply for penalty abatement for Form 5472? It's possible to apply for penalty abatement, but understand that in most cases, it's rarely granted. Penalties may be waived if reasonable cause can be shown. Now, what reasonable cause is when a taxpayer can demonstrate that failures to file are due to reasonable cause and not willful neglect. Some examples of this would be if that corporation had reliance on a professional advisor where special training is required. So if you're depending on your CPA to make sure that they understand all of your filing requirements and you don't file this form, that could potentially be reasonable cause. Now, another example of reasonable cause could be that there's reliance on information where the taxpayer does not or did not know that it was owned by a 25% foreign shareholder. Sometimes when you get into joint venture deals or you sell off equity, you may not know who is the full owners of that company that's buying you. So not knowing that could potentially be reasonable cause for not filing or filing late. Now, if you wish to try your luck at the penalty abatement process, to begin, you're just going to start by sending a letter to the IRS explaining your situation. Then the IRS will consider your argument. It takes about 6 to 8 months to approve your case or not. Now, the stakes are very, very high. As you see, $25,000 penalty. So it's better to file your forms on time and avoid this situation altogether. And that's going to require that you talk with your CPA and explain your situation and ask them if you need to file a Form 5472 based on your circumstances. So when you talk to your CPA, it's very helpful to know what is a foreign person. So when we talk about Form 5472, we talk about foreign ownership. So what is, quote unquote, a foreign person? So a foreign person can be defined as an individual who is not a citizen or resident of the United States. It can also be defined as an individual who is a citizen or a resident of a U.S. possession who is not otherwise a citizen or a resident of the United States. It can be any partnership, association, company, or corporation that is not created or organized in the United States. It can be a foreign estate or foreign trust as described in certain sections of the code. And lastly, it can be a foreign government or agency to the extent that the foreign government is engaged in the conduct of a commercial activity as defined by Section 892. So when you hear this, it can be sometimes hard to interpret. It's very nuanced. So again, you should work with your CPA to determine if your company needs to file a Form 5472. So if you're wondering who qualifies as a related party, this term covers any direct or indirect foreign shareholder that owns at least 25% of the reporting corporation, as well as a range of other entities that meet the tax definition of quote-unquote related. So again, this is a very broad term, and if you have any doubts, it's best to speak with a qualified CPA about your specific situation. So now that we've talked about Form 5472 and its relationship to foreign ownership, we need to now talk about reportable transactions. So what is a reportable transaction? Now, on Form 5472, it asks for reportable transactions. The IRS defines a reportable transaction very, very broadly. And a reportable transaction is any exchange of money or property with the foreign shareholder, such as a payment for sales, rents, royalties, and interest. And note that the payment of dividends does not qualify as a reportable transaction. So basically, it includes any type of activity between a foreign owner and the U.S. corporation with no limit in value. And just real big picture, so you really understand this, it's basically any transaction that affects taxable income of the reporting corporation, which could be your business based here in the U.S. So if any transaction happens between the foreign owner and the U.S. corporation and it affects their taxable income, it's likely a reportable transaction. So some examples of reportable transactions include the exchange of money or property, including payments, rental income, sales transactions, commission payments, capital contributions, and capital reductions. Now, another example could be the use of a U.S. company's property, such as real estate, by a foreign owner or related party. And it can also include loans and or interest payments between the corporation and a foreign owner. So to put this in the most basic terms and to help you to understand some tangible transactions, if you receive money from the LLC into your personal account, or if you contribute money to the LLC, which is capital contributions, or pay for an expense on behalf of the LLC, such as a franchise tax or registered agent fees, or have any transactions involving the LLC, you're going to need to file a Form 5472 for your business. So now that you understand Form 5472, let's talk about how it's similar and different from Form 5471. So the IRS Form 5471 has a similar informational purpose as Form 5472, but it applies for foreign companies owned by a U.S. person. So essentially the opposite scenario, whereas Form 5472 is where a foreign person owns 25% or more of a U.S. corporation. It's going to be Form 5471 where foreign companies are owned by U.S. persons. Now, who has to file Form 5471? U.S. citizens and green card holders who own at least 10% in a foreign corporation must file Form 5471 even if they're living overseas. Now, this is going to apply to officers, directors, or shareholders in a foreign company. And a foreign corporation is defined as a legal entity formed under the laws of any country other than the United States. And the penalties for not filing Form 5471 are also incredibly high. So to start out, you'll be fined $10,000 for each tax year you fail to provide the information requested on Form 5471, plus an additional $10,000 if the information is not provided within 90 days of the IRS providing a notice of failure. And thereafter, there's a $10,000 fee for every 30 days until that information is filed with the IRS. So it can get out of hand very quickly. Make sure that you're filing your Form 5471 and your Form 5472. These are just reporting requirements. There is no additional tax to be assessed on you or the corporation. It's just reporting those transactions that are relevant to each form. Now, hopefully this video has brought you some value and helped you to understand Form 5472 and Form 5471. If you need help with filing your cannabis business taxes or filing your Form 5472 or 5471, or you just want to chat about your scenario to see if you have to file these forms, then please reach out to us via our website at greengrowthcpas.com or give us a call at 800-674-9050. We can help you to assess your specific situation and scenario, let you know what your reporting requirements are, and then help you with all of the preparation and the filing for those forms. So again, if you need help with filing your cannabis business taxes or help with Form 5472 or Form 5471, then please reach out to us via our website, greengrowthcpas.com, or give us a call at 800-674-9050. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.